G'day and welcome to Exercise Thought. My name is Sam SUKE and we're brought to you today by SMB TV. Thank you to Joey and the rest of the team for getting this sorted. At Exercise Thought, we believe the best kind of physiotherapy is the advice and the care that involves both exercise and thought. Movement to get the body improving, and then also the right advice, the right ideas that you need to take charge of your own recovery and your own health. So with today's video, we're going to provide you with an exercise and a thought to help you either prevent pain or recover quickly should you experience pain somewhere in the future. Today's exercise is a classic. It's often known as a McKenzkie movement or an extension exercise, and it's focusing on lower back pain. A lot of people have got lower back pain, and in fact, lower back pain is the most disabling and the most expensive condition worldwide. Billions and billions of dollars are spent on people, on helping people who have lower back pain. And this exercise is found to benefit a particular type of lower back pain, which you might recognize from your own life. So if you find that sitting down for long periods of time causes a stiffness or a soreness through your lower back, if you find that driving is uncomfortable, and if you find that at the same time as these sitting postures are uncomfortable, that standing up and walking around helps to loosen and ease your back, then you might find this exercise is beneficial to you. The exercise is quite simply putting the hands on the hips and arching back. For those of you who are working from home, you might find that sitting in an unusual chair is causing your back to be a little bit dicey. We've got someone coming in later today who has some lower back pain after sitting down in a particular chair. And so I'd recommend every hour or every 2 hours that you get yourself up from the chair, do a couple of these back extensions, and it just helps to counteract the effect of sitting. If you're in one position for a long period of time, you can become quite stiff and you can be sore because of that, and this back extension helps to reverse the effects of sitting. It's also a really easy exercise to do laying on the floor. Often when people have got an intense back pain that refers down the back of their leg, which they might describe as sciatica, or a referred pain down the leg, we often get them laying face down, that is prone, propped up on their elbows, and that gentle arch in their lower back often gives them some pain relief, to the point where it might, as it did with someone last week, immediately reduce their leg pain and immediately resolve their back pain. When they do move out of that position, they do feel a bit of discomfort still, and then they simply go back into that position every hour or every 2 hours to provide them with some symptom relief. So today's exercise is either a back extension in standing, which you can do for 5 or 10 repetitions. Some people like to do even 20, 30 repetitions to loosen up their spine. And you could also consider doing it laying on the floor, propped up on your elbows for about 30 seconds, some people up to 2 minutes, depending on what's comfortable for you. So that's the thought for today's video, and I'm going to, that's the exercise for today's video. The thought for today's video is a look into the connection between psychology and pain. There are a few little facts, a few little tidbits that I think would demonstrate quite nicely the relationship between someone's pain and someone's mental state. So a few research studies to kick us off. There was a research study that found that when someone is more capable of observing their internal experiences, an internal experience is like a thought or a feeling, maybe a hope or an expectation, a memory. When a person is better at noticing those internal experiences, such as what we might practice with meditation, such as the meditations available through SMB TV, then that ability to observe their own thoughts is something that actually produces better outcomes in pain and reduces the interference that pain has in that person's day-to-day life. And at the same time, a person's ability to articulate or describe their internal experiences, to describe their thoughts, describe their pains, describe their body, a better ability to describe their internal experiences also reduces pain and reduces the interference of pain into their day-to-day lives. This is a study done of people with chronic low back pain, and it found that these attributes, being able to observe and describe your own internal experiences with more precise language, with more awareness about how your symptoms behave, will produce a better outcome for you. So if you are in pain, if you or a loved one is in pain and you'd like to become better, a thought that can help you is to become more precise in your observations of your own internal experiences and more precise in your description in the way that you articulate those experiences. So instead of saying, oh, it hurts all the time, you might be able to say, my lower back, I'm aware of it the whole time. It's more of a tightness during sitting, but then when I need to do lots of squats on one leg, it becomes a mild pain, approximately a 2 out of 10. Instead of saying it hurts all the time. And so in the same way, if you've got a pain or a problem, put as much thought and much precision around that description as you can. Because the history that you give, the story that you tell when you speak with a physio or any practitioner, is about 84% of our diagnosis. There was a research study that we found recently that said the vast majority of information you need for a diagnosis comes from the story, comes from the history. So what you can provide in your observations and your thoughts as a patient or as a client is essential to you having a diagnosis and you having a good treatment plan. Another thought, building on that conversation around psychology and the way that our thought processes can influence the success of our pain, is that there's a strong relationship between depression and low back pain. A strong correlation even. There's also a correlation between those who identify as having had childhood trauma and having chronic pain. So we know that if someone is sensitized or anxious or apprehensive, that they're going to most likely feel more pain. This is important to consider because it means that we might, it's a balancing act of course, we don't want to disregard someone's pain while we consider that maybe they're a bit more sensitive because they've got some depression, or maybe they've gone off their antidepressants recently and their pain's kicked up, or maybe as is true for all of us, if we're lacking some sleep. If we're lacking sleep, then we are more sensitive to pain, and this happens in a 24-hour cycle as well as a longer-term sleep deprivation. And of course, if we're in different moods, if we're enjoying ourselves or if we're worrying, that can cause different amounts of pain as well. I hope that the exercise, the back bend, and the advice around using the back bend, especially if you've been sitting down or driving for longer periods of time, I hope that's been helpful, and I hope it's also been helpful to consider these thoughts about the psychology of pain and the relationship between the way we think and the way that we can recover. If you have any questions, you're welcome to get in touch with us here at Exercise Thought. There will be an email and a phone number available, and also our website. Thanks again to SMB TV for hosting, and we look forward to seeing you.